Hey everybody, it's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We have another amazing guest today. We're talking about everything from new construction to team building and recruiting, and really what's the most interesting thing I think about today is just a different style, a different model for teams. So this is kind of a piggybacking and maybe a good complement to the episode that we did with Shar about the one agent team. She's built a different kind of model. We're going to talk to somebody else that has built their own type of team model around their personality. We'll get to her in a second. But as always, I am your certified Greg Wrangler, and the entire purpose of me being here is so that the show does not go off the rails, because I have one junior grandmaster himself here with me in the co-pilot seat. That is Greg McDaniel. Greg, what's up today?
Oh man, you kill me, man. I love the fact that you named yourself the certified Greg Wrangler, because it is so true. I just take a hard left or a hard right on subject matters. God knows when I'm going to give the middle finger or offend some gender, race, creed, religion, you know, some entire race of human beings. And Matt's like, oh God, please don't say that again on air. I'm like, why? But yeah, you do your best.
Which is very strange, because I always picture if I was going to be like in an Adam Carolla type podcast, I figured I would be the Adam Carolla. How did I turn into the Dr. Drew? What
was the name of that? What was the name of that show about the actors down in L.A. and they all had their buddy was like the superstar guy? You know who I'm talking about?
Entourage.
Entourage. So
if you compare me to someone to Entourage, I will kill you in your sleep.
Yes, I am. Who was Vince's like best buddy? That
I don't know.
Kind of like the manager.
I don't care.
And that's you. I'm Vince.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all Vince in our own heads. All right, so let's bring in our special guest for today, Danielle Seifert from Ankeny, Iowa. Danielle, what's up today?
Hey, how are you?
I'm very, very well. So give people just the short version, the 60-second bio on who you are, where you are, and what you do.
Okay. Mom and wife and a realtor. Fit that all in there somehow. I've been in real estate for 13 years. I've been really solo up until the last year and a half. Did $24 million, my best year in my solo career, just with myself and a closer, and decided I wanted to leverage my time a little bit more as the kids got busier, and so my whole real estate world turned upside down.
Yeah, that happens. Especially if you have, looks like you have 2 or 3 kids in that photo behind you?
I have 3.
3 nuggets.
2 9-year-olds right now, because they're 11 months apart, so I have 2 9-year-olds right now. So.
Wow. And a husband you have to wrangle. Yeah. You're the certified husband wrangler. Okay.
Yeah, right, exactly. I don't know how good I do at that. But.
All right, so 24 million in production, obviously really, really good. What kind of market are you pulling that out of?
A lot of it, our market here in Des Moines, the majority of my business is actually new construction. They have land sales in there, lot sales, and then new construction. I'm privileged enough to do a lot of double sides. We do dual agency here. I represent both sides of the transaction, which I'm kind of a control freak, so that part goes really well with my personality. I shouldn't say kind of. That was a lie. Hank told me to be myself, and I'm a control freak.
So that's why you and Matt get along so well.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Greg, but I would like you to stop talking and so that I can begin. I'm very curious to dig into that part of it, the new construction, the land sales. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I think on one of the shows last week we encouraged questions, which I'm about to do again. And one of the questions was involving a land sale deal, and like somebody taking money from 401k into a land deal, and how do you promote a land deal? And both me and Greg are like, no. I mean, zero experience with land deals, so I'm curious about that.
Could you answer that, because our viewing audience would be like, these idiots can't answer one question, and then they bring on this top-notch agent that want to make us look silly. Could you make us look silly and tell us how to do that?
Yeah. So where are your land deals coming from, and who's your typical client for that?
So I have developers. They'll either do it for commercial development, or we will do it for residential development to develop individual lots. So my most passionate part, the commercial stuff that happens is just a bonus, and that's not really my gig. The residential side, I'll pinpoint an area that I think we should develop, or a spot we like. And we'll buy the bare ground, and then you develop it into the individual lots and go through the city processes and all that.
What kind of time frame does that take? Because I know that can be a lengthy process, and especially if it's commercial, through the land acquisition, And so tentative maps, final maps, all that goodness. Do you ever go out and hunt down, like at the city planner level that's in a tentative map status, and then take that, buy it, or have a developer buy it, and then resell the final maps? Or
yeah, it really goes both directions. It just kind of depends on how close the ground is to current developments, like how far somebody's maybe taken it. Sometimes there's a final plat already done. They're looking for someone to buy it. Sometimes you're starting from scratch and putting townhomes here and deciding what all makes sense in the entire piece. So kind of just depends on where you come into it at. And it can take anywhere from, over a year by the time you get through city, final platting and all that, or, maybe 6 months. And it depends on weather here in Iowa too. We don't get to move ground very much well, in November and February.
I remember.
Frozen soil can be not excavated?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Jackhammer in hot water. That's the problem. I don't see a problem here.
A little frost didn't hurt anybody.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, there was one question that I wanted to throw out too. That's actually from more recently than last week. So for anybody that's joined us live, just want to thank you real quick for that. But if you're watching the replay here on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe, and then if you want the audio versions nestled here between our ears, where we still belong.
Deep and good.
That's right, Greg. Thanks for that. Head on over to iTunes and Stitcher and subscribe there. So here's the question. So Kayla Michelle, this is on the Lead Gen Scripts and Objections group. If anyone's a member of that group, you may have seen Kayla's live broadcast of her lead generation. A lot of times she's doing it like expireds and things like that. But this question is about dialing your own neighborhood. So she says, what awesome scripts do you have for dialing your own neighborhood and introducing yourself and either offering your services or a CMA? So Greg, let's start with you. How would you answer that?
So something I would do, Kayla, is I would do something a lot of times real estate agents overthink what you need to do when honestly, it's just simple tactics. I would do, hi, this is Greg McDaniel. I'm a real estate agent or a new real estate agent or whatever verbiage you want to do. Probably not new. Then you're going to disqualify yourself. Like, hi, I'm a newbie. Don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But yeah, you want to work with me? So hi, my name is Greg McDaniel. I'm with the McDaniel Callahan real estate team here in Danville. I just want to call around, introduce myself. I'm going to be working this marketplace, and I just wanted to see if you had any questions or thoughts about the current market that I could answer for you, or if your folks are thinking about buying or selling. I'd love to put you on an email drip so that you guys can get an idea of what your true value is and stop listening to Zillow's lies, because if you guys are thinking about making a move, number one thing is to have real numbers versus made-up fantasy numbers from Zillow and Trulia. So, if you have any questions or thoughts, let me know. Give me a call. My number is 925-915-1978 is my cell. You can text me if you have any other additional questions. Anyways, if not, I'll be calling around about once, so I look forward to speaking with you. I hope you have a great day. Again, Greg McDaniel with the McDaniel Callahan real estate team. That's
nice.
what I would do.
All right, so that answers what everybody's normal follow-up question is, which is, do you leave voicemails?
Yeah.
So that would be a yes, and that is
voicemail.
Okay.
So why is that so hard? Honestly.
All right, Danielle, let's turn to you. So if you were calling around in your own neighborhood, would you phrase things any differently? What would you do?
So just as a disclaimer, everybody's different. Everybody's personality. I mean, different in a good way.
Right. Not short bus. McDaniel, you're weird.
I don't do that. I don't do any script calling. I don't call around in my neighborhoods. This is not my personality, and I've learned to focus on what I'm good at, and I'm good at building relationships and talking to people and getting to know them through real relationships and being genuine. Not that you're not being genuine, so I've got to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody doing scripts' toes. But
ow, you stepped on my foot. Ow, ow, ow. Hey, were you wearing boots?
Yeah,
Greg's not into relationships.
I really focused my whole career on just building those relationships, and I feel like in the last 3 years is where I have started to see that take off. Where I don't have to lead generate, I don't do any of that, and I was just writing down some numbers, 3 to 4 referrals from doing nothing a week, which that's 150 clients a year, just because people know me and I've built those relationships. So.
Fair point. I like it. Now this is, you said what, was it a 12-year career?
13.
13. Okay. Now, if you were starting out, what did you do when you started out? Let's dive into that a little bit.
Open houses were my main thing, and new construction open houses, because I felt that a new construction open house I'd have not just the one house to sell, I had a whole project to sell. So I gradually just asked tons of questions, became an expert at it, and figured out that's what my passion was. So then I went after my first builder, found a for sale by builder, and the rest is history. I've had a builder since 6 months in the business.
So question for you. I actually talk about this a lot when I tell people how to utilize Zillow and you can get multiple deals. You know, when you got that first developer, what was your tactic to get in with that first developer? Because I love the fact that you can sell a whole development, or if you work with boutique builders, you have higher end quality, maybe lower quantity. But how did you get in with them? I mean, did you go stop by every office? I mean, how?
Yeah. Well, funny thing is, I drove by, I saw his for sale by builder sign. I approached him with confidence that it probably wasn't legitimate, or wasn't had no reason to have the confidence I had, but I did. And you fake it till you make it, sort of thing, I suppose. Sure. Went in with them and I said, hey, I see you got your for sale by builder sign. I'd be interested in talk to you. I do open houses every weekend. I've sold X number of new construction homes. It's my passion. I love it. He had said he was getting ready to list with another company. And then if it didn't work out, he'd get back in touch with me. So, most of the time that doesn't go anywhere. He just leaves it alone. 3 months later, drove by, still saw the for sale by builder sign in the yard, called him up again and said, hey, you said you're going to list with somebody. I don't see a sign there. Are you ready to talk? Went into his office, signed the listing agreement right then and there, and that was my first builder.
That's some lady balls right there. Nice.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Oh, my God.
I was waiting for that. I'm like, come on, just let me in. Let me in.
What I was saying. You just wanted to say that.
Well, come on. I knew what you were going to say. I'm like, I got to yell this out. There's a couple of people that I have a running joke with. You have to grow a big pair of brass balls to do this business. So you do, though. I mean, this is not an easy industry, especially with, male-dominated building, side. I mean, you took it and you just ran with it. You're like, hey, this is my development. I deserve it. I want it. It's mine. You made your mind up, and you went in and just closed. That's awesome.
Yep, you got to go.
A lot of people just don't do. And I wish that a lot of people would start doing that more. I think that their lives would be enriched if they just took that chance. But they're so afraid of that teeny, tiny word called no. And that stops so many people.
Every no gets you closer to a yes, right?
Yes, I love that cliche line. I use it every day. To myself when I do cold. Come on, I gotta know. I gotta know. Come on, yes. Like rolling at the craps table. No way.
Yeah. All right. So what do you say, Greg? We give a couple shout-outs and then let's dive in. I'm curious about the new construction aspect, so I'd love to go dive into that area first. And I'm especially curious about maybe some of the difference in the skill set and some of the specialized knowledge that you're able to develop, Danielle. So we'll get to that in a second. So Greg, I know you get shout-outs for people. Did you want to go first this time?
No, you do. Okay, fine, with me. I'm going to go as quickly as I can. So Antoine is one of my first shout-outs. Dude, this guy is hilarious. I was talking to him, and he hit me up. He's like, hey, dude. He's like, y'all remind me of the Justice League. I'm like, who's us? He's like, you, Matt, Casella, Colton, Joshua Smith, Aaron Wittenstein. You guys are like the Justice League of real estate trainers. And I'm like, I looked it up, and I'm like, I have been told I look like Superman. I think Matt would be a perfect Wonder Woman. And so we don't know where the rest of them are going to fit in there, but I had to get that out there. All right, Sandy and Larry had a great call with you guys today. Stacy's my MCC tonight. I got to get into this really quickly into Facebook. So all my messages, Tom Miller, Bonnie, Brian, Lauren, Bradley, Scott, Don, Nick, Melanie, great call last night, super cool. Jason, Norman, Julia, those are you guys who are reaching out to me. Super pumped to have you guys. And then all of you crazies that have been signing up for the McDaniel Challenge, guys, I'm booked until November 21st right now. So, Tom, Gina, Deb, Michael, Nancy, Mike, dude, you guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys signing up with me. This is going to be epic stuff. So there are a couple of my shout-outs out there, so rock and roll.
Yeah, and before too long, you'll be booking for December. So 5915-1978, get your free hour to 2 hours of coaching with Greg.
Yeah.
Challenge. All right, so for my shout-outs on my side, as usual, gregsmarketingexamples.com. Just go check them out. So it's viral marketing. You can see what they do for Greg. He's got a video there where he explains exactly how they help him pull more repeat and referral business out of his database. And then homing in, we've had the founders as guests at various times over the last 6 months on the show or whatever. That app allows homeowners to request home value from. So essentially, there are basically free seller leads that might be waiting for you depending on your zip code, because the homeowners are finding the app at a higher rate than like the agents themselves. So this is our chance, guys. The app is free to download on both sides, so it's not costing you anything. So this is our chance to take our seller leads and keep them within the realtor system before somebody figures out how to build something that attracts them and then sell it back to us at that super high price. So
assholes.
how about we not let that happen and we go download Homing In?
Fight back, Beagle.
That's
Fight the
right.
man.
Fight back.
Fight the
Fight
man.
back.
Down with the man.
Yes.
Up with the agent, with the realtors. That's what I say. That's my mantra.
All right. All right, so let's dive back in. So tell us about, so the new construction, right? Was there any, when you first started out, what do you think is the difference? I mean, now that you've done both sides and you work, regular residential and new construction, you're working with developers and builders and stuff. So what are some of the differences in the skill set or maybe the personality of someone that works new construction and is working with builders and developers versus someone who is maybe working with regular residential and is a buyer's agent and just working with families that are looking for homes?
Mm-hmm. The couple biggest differences that I see is that you can become an expert at new construction. It's really hard to become an expert at resales or residential resales because they're all different. They're all built different years. There's all different types of construction used, and you have to learn it every single time you go into a house. You have to figure something out when it's a resale. New construction, I can become an expert at what's inside the walls, which HVAC is used, what's on the roof, what the timeline is, all of that, what upgrades are available. That's stuff. I like to know stuff. I like to look good, and I like to know stuff. So new construction allows. The other thing is it's only.
I love that. That was the best quote. I like to look good, and I like to know stuff.
Well, look good, not you know what.
We know. We just find.
It's not that I don't like to look good, but
now you do realize that, like, we pull the best quote out of each episode and we create a graphic for it. You realize that's going to be the quote from this episode.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, please pull that one.
I was going for Matt should be Wonder Woman, but whatever.
No, that will be buried in the sands of time, and no one will ever hear from that again.
So far, that's my vote for the best.
To look good and know stuff. All right, so. Yeah. So you can become an expert at it because you're taking your field of knowledge essentially and narrowing it down, but then going super deep, right?
Yep, and it's with a specific product, it's brand new, so you can control things. The other part is it's just one relationship to manage too, so it's one builder. So when you're doing, if I have 15 homes in a development, that's one person I have to report to about open houses, about talking about upgrades, talking about sales, all that. That's not 15 different homeowners that are wondering why there's no traffic, or who came through the open house, or following up with them. So that part of it, from a standpoint of being a busy mom of 3 kids, that's the best scenario for me. If I manage that relationship and take care of that person well, that's just one phone call I have to deal with, not 15. So
that's
those are probably
better.
The biggest things that I like. Why I like new construction versus resale. I like my resales. I have to sell resales to get people into my new construction, but I like my focus to be the new.
So is that kind of your lead generation funnel? The leads come in through the new construction side, and they lead to listings on the backside?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
So, all right, so your prospecting is more in terms of developers and building those relationships with them over time. Then that leads to a pretty big inventory listing, which leads to buyer leads, which leads to listings.
Yep, listings, sales, yep.
Love it. All right, very cool.
Yep.
All right, so tell me about just the timeline. So if somebody's interested in getting into new construction, maybe they've done a few deals here and there, and they're thinking about specializing in it. What are some of those differences in the timelines, and how do you deal with clients on that the new construction end when things are kind of in process?
If someone's go back to what you're. I kind of saw 2 different questions there. So what do you have?
What are the differences in the time when you say the timelines? When you say the timelines.
Oh,
what do you mean by that? Yeah.
Yep. So if something's in foundation stage, I know we probably got another 4 months to build. I know the timeline of when cabinets need to be picked out, when countertops need to be picked out, when everything goes in, and I can be knowledgeable about that to keep everybody informed of what's going on, or when do they need to list their current house, because the new house is going to be done 60 days from now. So those timelines become very important in the communication standpoint, and I know that stuff off the top of my head now because I've become an expert at it. And so it just makes the conversation so much easier. We can get from point A to point B very quickly because, I've specialized in it and it's what I know. So.
Okay.
Yeah, no, timelines in any transaction are critical. Maintaining those, because contractually, they can a buyer or seller can jump out of it if you don't hit them right. So you having that expertise and knowledge on two sides of the fence is probably one of the reasons, why you are standing out in your community so much, because a lot of agents don't go in there and actually take the time to learn those. They just kind of fly by the seat of their pants, and they talk to their TC and be like, so when are we supposed to remove contingencies? When's that request repair going to be done? And everything else. But you have I'm probably guessing you have a whiteboard that's dialed down with timelines and homes, and you don't. You will soon.
It's actually great here, which is
really
yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah, I could never rely on that. All right, so
damn thing keeps shorting out. What the hell?
Yeah, like people with my personality and my what would you call it? Horrible lack of all short-term memory. I mean, I may forget about Greg after I get off the podcast here. But yeah, that's not that. Like my personality type is the reason why tools like Trello and all that stuff exist, because I have to lay it out visually and I have to have a place where I can see it and track stuff, because otherwise, good lord, very, very bad things would happen. So you mentioned that Hobbit pads. It's maybe you could not have 7 of them going at the same time. I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect there. Yeah.
I do have 3 going right now.
I believe you. All right, so Danielle, what you said, you basically became an expert in new construction because you asked a lot of questions. Who were you asking the questions of? Like, what were some of the types of people that you were able to look to as resources that were not, for most agents, they're looking around going, well, who do I ask? My broker either doesn't have the time or doesn't want to help me. I have competing agents. I have the top agents in the office who they don't want to give me the time of day. And then I have my peers who don't know what the F they're doing either. So
Yeah.
At least I hope they know that about their peers. Let's put it that way. So who did you go to?
I was blessed in the office when I started that we had about 32 agents in our office, and was a focus on new construction there. And it was an office of sharing. Like, so when I think of how my business is today, when we get into the team part of it, a lot of how that very first office I was in is modeled how I run my team today. We all shared. It wasn't about what do I get for you, get from you for giving you this information. I held open houses for agents that had new construction listings. They were my main resource for answering my questions. I can't go around them to the builder, so I relied on those agents. But I was holding their houses open, and if they gave me the information, I sold their house. And the more information they gave, the better I got at it. So if someone realizes that information going back and forth, how helpful that could be, you just got to find the people that are willing to share. If they're not willing to share, then move on. But find someone that's willing to share that information with you. There's plenty of people out. There's plenty of good people out there that will. So.
Yeah, I like it. Because and it's not that it's probably designed this way, but just the acting open houses for them kind of puts you on the same team, and then gives them the incentive to share everything that they've got, which is good.
Yeah.
I like it. And that's something, Greg, you encourage new agents of any kind just to go out there, find someone to partner up with, in that sense, do open houses and things like that, which we talked about on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys don't know anyone, go to all the top producers in the area, write out a list of what you're going to do for that top producer, feedback, the whole 9 yards, you're going to promote it, all that, and you will get a top producer to give you some listings to hold open houses. Absolutely guaranteed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's the place that you start, and then ask lots of questions, educate yourself about the product that you're selling, and then just expand from there and work on developing relationships and things like that. So when you talk about developing relationships, how are you going about that now? Are you getting direct referrals to builders and developers to where you can just get together and meet them one-on-one? Are you going out to events still and trying to meet new people? Like, where do the new relationships come from?
So the new relationships, so my relationship builders that I have now, I'm where I want to be. I have a good amount of listings. I have the inventory that I need. And on my team, I'm helping them. So those relationships that I've built and that reputation I've built for knowing new construction is helping me to help them get builders for them to represent. So one of my team members actually had been talking to a builder for probably the last 8 months and just solidified getting all of his listings and has 5 pendings already for it. And I'm a resource for him for answering those questions. Now, how I'm able to reciprocate what happened to me when I started. So now I'm answering those questions for him. I'm helping him with my strategies, what I did, what I would do, and he's taken off like crazy. So my goal is for those that part of my team that want to have a new construction builder, I'm helping them find that. So my reputation, again, as knowing new construction, hopefully helps them to obtain a builder.
Guarantee it does. Now, this is a question that I honestly am interested in knowing the answer to. Not like I don't want to know the answers to other questions, but is it uncouth to, if let's say you're representing Builder Bob, your team member representing Builder Matt, what if one of Bob's buyers doesn't like the product? Can you take that buyer and bring him over to Builder Matt? Does that create an issue there? I mean, how does that work in the builder community?
No, and I think the thing that builders know about me and why I'm trusted, because I have 2 builders that I represent right now, and both of them trust me that if someone comes into their development, I'm going to do everything I can to sell them that product. But they're also realistic and know that doesn't work 100% of the time. So I'll take them over to Builder B and show them that product. So I try to sell my stuff first, always. But as that buyer went over to that builder, it'll happen the other way another time. So it all evens out. And the more exposure I can get, the more phone calls, the more times I can make my phone ring, the more both of them are going to sell.
Okay, I just want to make sure there wasn't a line that people couldn't cross.
I'm lucky my builders, there's not. There's plenty of builders and builders I've had in the past that, no way. But
they'd fire you as an agent.
That's why it's in the past and I'm here.
There's people out there that, just so that the viewers, when they watch this on the replay or watching it live, they know that you get to go with the personality types, maybe talk to the builder and say, hey, how do you want me to handle the buyers that come through your development? If it doesn't work for them, do you want to just maintain that relationship and try to close them on another development you're doing, or is it okay if we work with them and just help this family get into a product?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I would give. Not that you don't want to have a discussion with the builder, but I think it's important for you to have that discussion be how you want to handle it. Because if you're not handling with what you're comfortable with and what you feel is right, then it's not going to be a good long-term thing for you. So I think that discussion, you both have to kind of agree on that. Not that they can't. I mean, they're kind of in control because they can take the listings away.
Yeah.
But that relationship has to be good, and the way that you operate has to work for you too. So.
Okay. Now, when you work with developers, is there any minimum of size of homes that you would work with in a development? I mean, 1 home, 2 homes, is that too small, or is it anything flies?
Anything flies. Anything flies. It seems like most people are at least 2 to 3. Having just one new construction home in the development it's hard to get any momentum. You can't really get things moving if you don't, because once one sells, then you have to start over at foundation stage again. So then you're another 4 or 5 months till you have a product. Yeah. So you have to keep things turning over, and that's an important thing. An important job on my side is to remind builders, because sometimes they get so busy building the homes that you're not worrying about the new homes to start. So when you get something that's framed up, you need to have another foundation in, so that when that framed up house is done, you have, so that you're just kind of recycling everything and keeping the wheels turning. So. Absolutely.
Now, you also mentioned that you do land deals. Do you go down to the city planners and look at what is out there that maybe the builder hasn't found and bring it to the different builders as land purchases?
I do a lot of stuff on Google Maps, and I drive around, and I'm always looking at bare ground. I don't go as far as the city planner part of it. And as the development, once we find something too, my builders are the ones that handle the city part of it, the planning part of it, the zoning and all of that. I've been involved in it a little bit, but by no means am I any sort of expert in that. I surround myself with a lot of good people. So
that's the way to go.
One thing I cannot take credit for is
Yes. I surround myself with people that call me Wonder Woman. So I clearly made a horrible, horrible mistake in my judgment of character.
And Matt, that's the 3rd time this has been mentioned on the podcast. This is not going away, buddy.
All right. So
Oh, Dub over there, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's dive into the team building stuff, and maybe if we'll have time, I've got maybe a question or two about the dual agency stuff and double ending the deals. But so take me back to you've done a lot, some really great production numbers on your own. Basically you and you said a closer. So I'm assuming it's not like a transaction coordinator that handles the contract to close, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's basically you and a transaction coordinator. You were able to do phenomenal numbers, but take me to that point, and what was the point where you're like, okay, something has to change?
Yep. But I always had the desire to mentor, to help other people, but I didn't really have a vehicle to do it. So I was approached, timing-wise, this is interesting, but I was approached by another company when I had no intentions of leaving, and they mentioned the word leverage. And that, like, my eyes, like, immediately lit up, like, yes, that's what I need. Because then if I can leverage myself, I can help these other agents and I can build a team. So I jumped ship and went to another company for a very short period of time. Learned exactly what I did not want to do. 6 months later, left and went to another company and did the exact opposite of everything that I had learned there. And within the first, I don't know, it was a year and a half later. Well, it's a year and a half later now. I have 10 agents on my team and have the best atmosphere. Like, if I would have picked, like, my ideal team of what it would look like and how it would function, this is it.
All right. Interesting. All right. So give us a breakdown of what is the structure of that team.
So the buyer's agent, the listing agent stuff is, like, not even in my vocabulary. Again, little disclaimer, I understand that works for some people, not for me. I want to take agents and take my successes and what worked for me and build them up to be as good or better than me. I want to show them how to get from point A to B to here, and let them build their own brands. So all of my agents have, they all have their own team names, or not team names, but their real estate names. They brand themselves. They can use my name all that they want. They can have it on their voicemail, their email, whatever. Or if they're in an interview with somebody, they can use it if it helps give them any what's the word?
Credibility.
Credibility, yes, thank you. But they don't have to. So it's not about me, it's about them. So that's where I think it's complete opposite of where I had been. And they're full-fledged, 100% agents. Like, they're not just focusing on one side. They're very well-rounded and taking care of business, honestly.
Okay.
That's awesome.
What's the support staff like, the structure for them?
So I have an admin here, an executive assistant, whatever the term is. She's a friend that helps us out and does some of the running and some of that stuff that we don't necessarily have time to do. Kind of the office manager side of things. But the nice thing about the company I'm at is that our back office is the best I've seen in the industry in my 13 years. So once a deal becomes a sale, they honestly will handle everything from getting the closing doc signed to getting checks delivered to all of that. So my support staff in here is really simple.
Strictly sales support, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not having to deal with any of the admin, the back end from contract to close. You can literally hand that off, and it's just peace of mind. Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
We're seeing a lot of agents, top agents, go that direction. I have the same setup in my office. Love it. If it's not a negotiation issue, like one of the deals I'm dealing with right now, I mean, my team manager Eileen, who I talk about all the time, she handles everything until the negotiations come into play, and then you or I would step back in, handle business, step back out, let her run the rest of it. It is a beautiful scenario.
Yep, absolutely. Agreed.
I would never go back to doing.
And what's the cost, just in terms of the cost structure? Like, is that something that you are paying for yourself or paying out of your commissions, and then are you passing that along to the clients in the form of any fees or anything like that?
Nope, not anything on the clients. I pay for our office lease, so we have just our own team office. We don't have any. No one from the outside. You can't tell we're even in here. So this is our office. This is where we function. Nice thing about that is you don't have to worry about any real estate drama. It's just not that there's any drama in real estate.
So true. A bunch of teenage girls.
Yeah, we're in complete control. So we're just in here by ourselves working. I pay for the lease, the copier, the admin. I do all that. None of that gets passed on to any of our clients at all.
Okay, so you run your business just like mine, and you're probably the same type of like us. Like, we're a business in a box. We can and put down somewhere else. Anyone who's listening from Rockcliffe, I'm not leaving J. Rockcliffe. It's just a business model, so don't lose your shit.
Yeah.
All right. So where did the agents come from in terms? I mean, you've grown really, really quickly. So tell us exactly how long it took you to build up to a 10-agent team, and where did you come across those people?
It probably took me 8 months, something like that, to get up to 10 agents. Zero recruiting, done none of that. That's one thing that just much like lead generation, just not me. And anytime I start to do anything like that, I'll start to stutter or sound stupid or whatever. So I don't even go there. It's really just a relationship based. I feel like they liked what I was doing. They liked what I stood for and how I worked, and they came to me. So, I mean, I don't think there's a better way to build a business, and one that people are going to want to stay. Because I didn't have to overpromise anything. I didn't have to sell them on anything, so it's built a little bit differently than maybe your typical team would be.
And they gravitated to you because of your reputation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way to do it, really. I mean, for sustainable, real growth, like a family unit, you become a family unit.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and that's I mean, surprisingly, when you get into like Josh Smith has a pretty systematic recruiting lead gen system, and there's some other guys like Jeremiah Taylor out here in San Diego with KW that has something like that. But yeah, I mean, even like Jeff Cohn in Omaha runs the #1 team in the state, and their team is built for the most part by personally reaching out to people that were on the other side of the transaction. And then they do, occasionally send things out to all the agents in their city, but it's not like they're blasting people all the time with like recruiting content. It literally is mostly due to personal referrals from the agents on their team, which there's 30 of them. So there's I mean, but they got to 30 agents by just that, like personal referrals and contacting the people that were on the other side of the deals, asking their agents, hey, this person that was on the other side of X deal, what'd you think of them? Oh, they were great. Well, all right, well I'll reach out to them. So it's, I mean, yeah, you'd be surprised how many I think top teams don't have any sort of kind of systematic way to generate leads. It's all through personal relationship. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, and I think that's the most rewarding way to build it too, because those relationships mean everything to you, and if that's how you build your business, I think that's, I don't know, just it's a lot of fun to sit back and realize that that's how you got here, not versus recruiting and going out and having coffee with people every day, trying to get them to come to your office, and that's just exhausting. Like that's just nothing worse, in my opinion.
Can you imagine making 100 calls a day to other agents, just trying to get them to have coffee, trying to hit a goal of 10 agents a month? Does that just make your skin crawl?
Yeah,
I've done it. It sucks.
Yeah.
They're like, free coffee? Oh, sure, not a problem. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not moving. You're like, gosh damn it. Yeah. Why the heck?
And the whole point of this is, like Danielle, you said, to look around you and go, I have this amazing group of people that I really enjoy working with, and if it grows, great. But there's other ways to grow, and that's you can grow internally. You can take the same set of people and you can grow internally by just maturing as agents or professionals in your field, whatever the case is, and growing together as a team and working better as a team. So I think that's Hank put up a Facebook Live, I think, yesterday, talking about just peer pressure and ego and how caught up people get in nexting.
Yep.
Like once you hit one plateau, well, on to the next, and and there's a whole coaching organization that shall remain nameless, whose entire job is to do that, to encourage their agents to keep take your goals and double it, and now you've hit this plateau, it's immediately time to set your sights on the next thing, and there's I get, like, yes, there's value and virtue in continually pushing yourself in some area of life to keep on improving and stuff like that, but there's other ways to improve other than doubling your numbers or doubling the number of agents you have.
Get burnt out if that's the way you, I mean,
I think a lot of people do, yeah.
Not everybody does, but majority of people will get burnt out if that's their approach.
Yeah. So I get the impression that's kind of the direction you were being steered before we kind of you and Hank started working together to kind of get this new model figured out, right?
Yep. Yeah. And when it was proposed to me and said, this is the way that you need to do it, this is the way you should go, I started out down that path, and everything about it made me feel uncomfortable. I didn't sleep well at night. I didn't like taking that much money from the agents, first of all. They're putting their life, they're spending time away from their family for this, and they're working hard. I don't want to give them 25% of their 50% of the deal. It's not me. I want to reward them. I want them to get paid like an agent should get paid. So it was just against everything that I believed in. And if I had started out there and tried to build my business that way, I would not be here right now talking to you.
Yeah.
No way. So I would have.
So what's you're taking yourself out of the game because you wouldn't have liked who you are, what you became, or the people around you, because you feel like you're screwing them over, and you're like, your skin starts to crawl, and you're like, I'm done. Yep. I'm gonna go spend a better quality of life somewhere.
Peace out. I'm done.
Yeah. Peace out.
So what is the strike? If you're comfortable sharing it, like what are the splits, and what's the value in exchange for the split to the agents?
We work out a deal where I get 25% of their production up to the 100 GCI, what they bring into the company, and then they go to the normal agent split here. So this is the 25% referral for their first the first 100 GCI. And then after that, it's all theirs. I don't get anything.
Really?
Yep.
But per year or just?
Per year. So, and it's from their start date. So it's not like a fiscal year or calendar year or anything. It's from their start date and then every year it resets.
Okay. So max of 25 grand, about $2,000 a month essentially.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of what
for
the average agent. Yeah. That's kind of what I figure the top is. Like me and Greg a long time ago, and we still may do this at some point, but we had for a very limited time a kind of a limited partner program where we would coach and train and like do all this marketing stuff in exchange for, I mean, out in California, the numbers worked out to do it for about 15%. In the Midwest, it makes sense to do it at 25. Right. But yeah, that's what we're thinking. I mean, when somebody's cutting you a check for anything more than about $1,500 to $2,000 a month,
right.
You better be, I don't know, you better be showing up to their house and like picking them up and escorting them to their car and loading them into their car, providing them breakfast in bed or something. Like there's a whole level of expectations that go up once you cross that like $1,500 to $2,000 a month threshold. And the way it sounds like it's being taken out like at the broker level. So are they even really seeing it? They're not really cutting you checks. It's taken out as a referral fee.
All out of commission, and it's done just cut in the checks, at the office. So it's not, if they don't have any closings, they don't pay me. So
exactly.
So I have to be doing my job and mentoring and helping them and making sure they're meeting their goals, or I don't get paid either. I can't pay the lead. So we all have to work together.
But you're also not building up this infrastructure of staff on wild assumptions of production. I mean, it sounds like you run a pretty lean ship in the sense that it really just comes down to will you be continuing to work and provide mentoring and training, and if so, you've got your executive assistant that kind of helps manage things, and is that it basically for staff requirements? Yeah.
What kind of time does it take out of your day and your production to mentor them?
Honestly, nothing. So I mean, remember I had my builder.
Because you do it anyway.
Yeah. I have my builder relationship. So those don't. That's where I spend the majority of my time is managing that and making sure that's right. And then my existing houses, I have, a good group of them at a time. But as long as I'm following up with them like I'm supposed to on my routine, that doesn't take a whole lot of time either. So to answer my phone or answer a text or whatever is no big deal. I'm always by my phone.
You kidding
we're
me?
writing offers at 11 o'clock at night. I remember one of my new agents who will be a Rookie of the Year this year. And I had one last year, so I know something that I'm doing is working right. They're working their butts off, and they're making their goals. So that's super exciting to watch that happen for them. But we're writing offers at 11 o'clock at night and helping them walk through that. That's what I love. Someone did that for me. People in my office did that for me when I started. Now I get to do it for 10 agents here and watch them grow. So I don't know it's perfect. So.
Yeah, it's very gratifying. It's very gratifying because you get to watch them live the life that they truly want, and you can say, I had a small part in that, and now good for you. Go get them, killer.
There's no ceiling on their growth. I think sometimes we make someone a buyer's agent, or they just with all the time they have to put in, you just can't. They can't grow to be a mega agent or a rainmaker or anything like that because there's a ceiling on their growth.
Right, and also, if grandma, grandma's gonna sell their house, and you say, look, you're pigeonholed as a buyer's agent. I handle all the listings. Guess how long they're gonna be on your team after that conversation?
Yeah.
Here's my pink slip. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So a couple final. We got about maybe 10 minutes left is about all we can go. So I've got a couple more questions I wanted to get to. So I think a lot of agents would love to. I think they feel the pressure. In order to grow their business, they have to, dive into things like cold calling and stuff like that. And obviously, Greg, that works really well for you, and you teach it, and you're very good at it. And for the right personality type that can run with it, it's great. I think a lot of people would prefer to build their business strictly by relationships, but probably really don't know what that looks like in terms of day-to-day.
Right.
So Danielle, give us an idea, like what does a relationship building kind of a schedule look like for? How does that actually play out in real life? How much time are you spending with clients in terms of actually, building the relationships that you need that will sustain and grow your business?
Yep. So the key relationships that I have are obviously with 3 kids being involved in sports. I spend a lot of time with parents. And I think the key thing in that, and I think where a lot of people can get tripped up is just be real with them. Be a real person. You don't have to talk real estate every transaction. You don't have to try and sell them on stuff. Just be real. And when they need something, they'll ask you about it. And that's probably been the biggest key to my success is that I'm just a normal person talking to people. letting them know who I am as a person. They know what I do, obviously. I don't need to push it down their throat. But then those people that come to me, that's who I get referrals from, because they want their friends to work with me too. So my core relationships, they take care of me on referrals too, because they want their friends to get the same treatment that they get. So
yeah, and that leads me to the second question, because I felt like I was probably going to go there, which is when you start operating a lot on relationship, then that naturally leads to referrals. What's your kind of system for how you ask for and handle a referral? So when, let's say you're out to lunch with a builder friend or just a current relationship or referral partner or whatever, and they go, oh yeah, so I remember so and so mentioned that they were potentially looking for a home. I think they'd be great for you. I think they should work with you. At that point, what's the next step, or what are you asking them to do?
Give me their name or number, or would they prefer to contact me? Either way, just let me know what's best for them, and I'll take care of them.
Okay.
Simple as that.
That's organic.
So it's about half and half. I know some people specifically go after the contact information and then say, I would be happy to reach out to them. I'll reference you. So that, I'm assuming that's kind of your preferred way to do it.
Yeah. Yep. That would be preferred, but every personality is different. It's got to be on their own time, and they got to be not at work when they call, or when they talk or whatever. So I just kind of leave that up, and if it's meant to be, they're gonna end up talking to me. So it works.
Yeah, you have no commission breath. You're not dragging the information out of them.
No.
We're living in different states. We're running our businesses the exact same, and I love your mindset. I love the way you're building your team and the way you operate your own personal production and how you go out and you find deals. I teach a lot of agents to tell them to go do the same thing. Go be around who you're around. Go do things you like to do. They will come to you when the time is right. I had a lady approach me in my workout class this morning and just started talking real estate, and then she's like, "Oh crap, we gotta start the class." But I mean, she knows I do real estate. So if it ever comes down the pipe, here I am.
And being that you're a normal person is
that's a stretch.
Well, but you're not a salesperson. You're not out there pitching your real estate.
Yes, we prefer the term real, not normal. He's a real human being. I would normal. All right, so let's in the few minutes we have left, you want to chat a little bit about how does the dual agency thing kind of play out when you are in the new construction space?
It's actually very simple. I tend not to complicate things. So me being in control again, I think is the best, because you don't have 10 lines of communication going both directions and waiting for it to come back. I'm in touch with the lender, so then I can let the builder know this is who they're working with, this is the scenario, they're solid, they're good to go. I can communicate any changes. It eliminates so much chance for miscommunication and things getting lost, that I truly believe that I don't want to jinx myself, but out of all the dual agencies that I do, that there's very, very few that would have ever felt like they didn't get the best deal that they possibly could. So I love it. I love it, and it has nothing to do with the money. It honestly is the control part of it, because I don't have to rely on anybody else. It's all on me. It's my butt.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure it gets taken care of. So.
Right. So I actually have a question for you as well. With all the technology that's out there right now, are you guys leveraging Facebook Lives, videos to showcase this new construction, kind of show the progress of these different developments? Have you guys started doing that at all?
I've started doing a few things, so I had to get more comfortable with it. I did one without my face, and I did one with. So I'm graduating.
That sounds super creepy. What do you mean you did one without your face?
Face off.
That's right.
Not show my face.
Like you did it with John Travolta's face instead, or
right,
what?
Right. I do like him though.
Side note.
I know. Now I just lost track of what I was saying, but. I think I'll do more of that. I did it at open houses. I did it walking through an amazing house that I had, with gorgeous landscaping and whatnot. So I'm starting to get comfortable with the camera doing that. Down the road, I think I definitely will, because I saw really good, whatever the word is on Facebook as far as likes and views and all that stuff. I was extremely impressed with how that worked out. So.
And it will only grow. Matt and I both do Facebook Lives every single day. He and I both have different styles of doing them, and that's the really good part about it, because different people are attracted to each one of us.
Yep.
The one tip I'll tell you, if you and your team start doing them more, go to Amazon and buy a product called a Smart Lav microphone. And it's $80. It's a lavalier mic that will clip to to your shirt, plug into the bottom of your phone, and when you're walking through new construction, it's going to be a little echoey because there's not a lot of padding in there. It'll minimize that echo, so your audio will be much clearer, and people will actually be able to see and hear what you're doing, and you'll get more views, more likes, more comments, and everything off of that.
Oh, very good. Thanks.
Yeah, that helped too. Yeah, I was going to say, when we did that one outside the hotel in L.A., Greg, I mean, it was pretty, you
look like a
decently windy. Shut up. You're a large human being. Anyway, yes, it was decently windy, and the lavalier, we're just holding up the lavalier microphone like in between the two of us, and it worked great. So like if you're doing something where you have somebody else there, with like you can even bring your builder or developer into the video with you and ask them about the development and what are the amenities and the different upgrade options and stuff like that. That'd be a really cool video, and you can literally just hold the microphone in between the two of you and get somebody else on the Facebook Live with you, which is cool. All right. So give everybody, what's the easiest way for people to get in touch with you, connect with you, and send referrals your way in the Des Moines area?
Yeah, Facebook, you can go to my real estate page, Danielle Seifert, Seifert, and then texting is, I love talking to people or texting with them. My phone is the quickest and easiest way to get a hold of me. Do you have my number anywhere? Do you want me to say that?
You can, no, I don't have it anywhere. Just go ahead and say it.
I don't want to repeat something that's like on the screen somewhere. 515-208-4220.
Perfect. All right, awesome. And then, Greg, you want to give a quick rundown on the McDaniel Challenge real quick, in case people missed that the first time?
It's a magical hour to 2 hours that you'll spend with me talking in the evening time, enjoying a beverage of adult variety. What it is, it's an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Well, there's no guarantee that they will, but enjoying one.
Very true, but it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how fucked up you guys all are up in the brain pan there. But you guys get to hang out. We get to talk about whatever's stopping you, blocking you, holding you back from your next level of success, either mentally, prospecting, whatever it is. Guys, contact me. There is no strings attached. It's 100% free. I guarantee you, it is free. I just want to get to know you guys, help you past where you are currently. I also leave the line of communication open afterwards, so you guys, I talk to dozens of people every single day that have come through the McDaniel Challenge. Best way to get a hold of me, guys, is my cell phone. It is area code 925-915-1978. If you think you are on the fence about should you or shouldn't you, please get a hold of me, because by the time it gets around to be your turn, it's going to be either late November, December, or either 2017. My next available is November 21st as of this recording. So guys, please get off the fence. I really, 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 truly love you. I believe in our industry. I believe in our profession. I want you to not fail out in 3 years like 83% of all real estate agents do, because they aren't given the opportunity to get the coaching and training that they so desperately need at the beginning stages, or if you're getting back into the business. So utilize me, guys. Our podcast is here. Our Facebook Lives are here. The personal one-on-one coaching is here at no cost. So please take me up on that. 925-915-1978.
Awesome. All right, guys. So here's what we got on tap for next week. Monday is Tim Stafford talking social media. Wednesday is just me and Greg. Good Lord help us all. And then Friday, I should say, is Brett Tanner out of Phoenix. He's a top producer. I think he's also a viral client. I remember running across him back in the day. And so those really, really good episodes coming up. And then so watch us Monday, Wednesdays at 3 and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific. And then make sure to get, I don't know if we always forget to mention on the show, but on the website, McDanielRealEstateSystems.com, is a link to Greg's favorite scripts. Mm-hmm. So that's all of his favorite scripts for every kind of scenario with a link. Each one has a link to YouTube where we've actually recorded a video of Greg actually speaking through and role-playing that script. So that's all free, no cost for that. Just go to the website, McDanielRealEstateSystems.com, and grab that. And with that said, I think that's it. We can put a nice little ribbon on this one and call it done.
Let's do that, Matt.
All right. Thank you so much, Danielle, Greg, and we will, everybody else, have a great weekend.